So last week I bought the new ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, this box right here, and I really love it. But it was a very close call. Was it the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO or was it this beautiful one, the ATEM Television Studio HD? Two different beasts, but still from the same company, Blackmagic. And in today's episode, I will be talking about the choice. Why did I choose for the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO? So, are you ready? Okay, so the ATEM Mini Extreme versus Television Studio. Just a side note, I actually had a television studio 8 years ago with 6 inputs, 4 HDMI, 4 SDI, and actually you only had 6 inputs at the same time. So channel 3 and 4 were either SDI or HDMI. But those are the gone days. Today we're going to talk about the difference between the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and the Television Studio HD. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more videos in the ATEM Mini video series by Taekwondo, then please go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more content. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about some changes. So of course, the form factor is different. So the ATEM Television Studio is a 19-inch rack mountable unit. It has everything on the top, on the front of the system. So it has a cut bus or preview cut bus as well. It has a follow focus. It has a nice display, which the ATEM Mini actually doesn't have, come to think of it. And it is really a nice product. It also has a well, you can also purchase that panel, but I am not talking about this panel just for the sake of clarity. So we are going to talk about the 19-inch rack versus the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. So what I've done for you is that I actually created this version, the changes in the versions, so that we can talk about it and really talk about the reasons why I think they're important or maybe not. So to set the stage, what are we talking about? So we're talking about the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, which is 1,139 euros. And that is compared to the ATEM Television Studio HD, which is about 875 euros. Both prices are without taxes, so you need to increase it a little bit to have the correct amount. Now, what are the differences? Well, both ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and the ATEM Television Studio HD both have 8 inputs. The difference is that the ATEM Mini has 8 HDMI inputs versus 4 HDMI inputs on the Television Studio, but the Television Studio also has 4 additional SDI. Now, why is that important? The SDI cables can go a way more length than, for example, the HDMI cables. So if you use it, for example, for a church service, then HDMI is not that big. So that's the reason why I actually purchased, and I actually had them already, some converters. So converters from SDI to HDMI and then moving into the ATEM Mini. So because I already had those, it was a bit easier for me to go with the HDMI model compared to the other Television Studio model. If I would not have those converters, I might be tempted to go with the Television Studio because of that SDI product. But yeah, the winner is definitely the Television Studio on this one. But HDMI is still very good, and with converters, 50 euros, you have a converter for one channel, so it's quite okay as well. This is a biggie, the frame rate and format converters. So what is new on this product right here, or actually all ATEM Minis to be honest, is that every single input channel, so all 8 on this model, but also on the early ATEM Mini models, every single input has a frame rate and format converter. And why is that so important? Well, you never know exactly what you get into it, and especially like me, if you're doing conferences or you're doing Skype meetings or whatever, you really want to well, basically don't have to think about all those formats. You just want to hook up a laptop and it should work. You want to hook up a camera and it should work. That is not possible on the television studio. You really need to make sure that everything is at the same setting as compared to the ATEM Mini, where you can just basically put something in and it will probably work for the most part. At least that is the idea. Now, if you look at open connections, I have to say that I am a little bit pro to the ATEM Mini here because it doesn't really say it on the website of Blackmagic, but the ATEM Mini has the ATEM Mini Extreme, not one HDMI output. It has 2 HDMI outputs, and that brings you a lot of benefits. 2 HDMI outputs, and the cool part is that they're actually both auxiliary. That means that you can actually select what you want to have on the output, being program out, multi-view, or even just passing through a channel that you would like to have. For example, if you have like a ISO channel that shows you the whole environment, then you can just put that on and just move it towards the output. That is really powerful on the ATEM Mini Extreme. But I actually also added that this is a little bit sneaky, also the 2 USB-C outputs, because you can also use that to bring it as a webcam into your vMix computer, for example. So that is essentially also a output. And as a matter of fact, I am using the USB-C output to bring it into my vMix production. And so that means that I don't have to bring along this computer right here, but I can actually bring along a laptop compared to a computer, which makes my life easier, and I'm not so worried of having my computer breaking down if I'm going on location. Hence, it is really great. But looking at, for example, the television studio, it has 8 outputs. That is really impressive. That means that on every SDI input, there's already an output, so you can actually loop through the SDI, which is quite powerful. So you can actually also route it to other places, which is really cool. And of course, you also have the HDMI output for example, the multi-view, which is also great. Where the television studio shines is the Xlr Input, and that is a XLR cable is really industry standard if it comes to audio, and it's also very, very professional. That's where the ATEM Mini lacks. So that's the reason why I bring in my audio not via the ATEM Mini, but via my camera, who happens to have some XLR inputs. So you need to be careful with this one. So if you want to have good audio and you don't want to have that on your cameras, then the television studio is a good one for you. So that is, these are the first reasons why I think that the television studio is actually the better option. But there are more. That is right. So let's talk about the cut and preview bus. So if I go back to the shot that I had here, you see that there's a red light and a green light. That is what they call preview cut. So the green one is the preview and the cut is the red one. And you can actually choose that. If you select one of the buttons, it will turn automatically red and then it will go live. But you can also do the cut preview one, and that is very helpful, especially if you have multi-camera productions with camera operators, because if you have the preview cut bus, you can actually say to your cameraman, hey, watch out, we're going to you, making it green. So then they know, we have to be taking it to have paid attention. And then if you click on red, it then will go into the red and then it's live, right? So that is important. So both do have that. So on my ATEM Extreme, I've actually set the buttons to display the red and the greens. I do have a tele GPI and tele extension box as well, so I can actually show the tele lights to the cameras. So that is really great. But the same thing can also be done on the bus. So there's no difference there at all. The select bus is really powerful. So on the television studio, on the ATEM Extreme, there's a selection bus. So you can, on the device itself, on the control panel, you can decide what is happening, when and where. And we will have a separate video on this because this is a very, very powerful feature. And it is mind-boggling that you can do that on this display. And this is a really, really cool stuff. But the Television Studio does not have that. What the Television Studio also doesn't have is 4 upstream keyers. And that is immensely important because you can have multiple picture-in-pictures side by side. There's a super source as well on this system that's actually DVE. That makes this a very, very powerful device compared to the Television Studio that does not have that. So there is a reason why the Television Studio is cheaper than the Extreme. So that is one of the reasons why I think that that is okay, but it is definitely a difference nevertheless. So there's no DVE on the Television Studio. Now, last but not least, let's talk about streaming. The ATEM Extreme streams directly from the device itself. Only what you have to do is that you have to pre-fill the stream key of Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Restream IO, or even if you have the ATEM streaming bridge, which I have and we will have a video on, you can just click the on air button and it will automatically stream without any computer, as long as you have pre-entered the stream key. That is the only thing that you need the computer for. Then it can record the program out, and then I'm talking about all ATEM switchers that have the Pro or Extreme in their name. So the ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, ATEM Mini Extreme, and ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. All 4 of them can record program out on a USB drive right from the system itself. No other hardware required apart from, of course, the disc. The ATEM Mini does not have that feature, but that is also a €350 device, so that is okay. What the ISO also has, my system, the ISO, it can also add the ability to record every single input as well. That's so all 8 inputs and the program out. So that's 9 streams of recordings at the same time, and that is real powerful because after the fact, if you have a paid project, you want to give your client the best deal. So what you do then is that you stream, you make some errors, it all happens, we're just people, but after the fact you can go into your favorite editor, Blackmagic. You can go into the favorite editor, and then you can just use the multi-track options right there in Resolve, and then you can make it perfect. So that is one of the reasons why this ISO model is really cool, and that's also the reason why I have it. The Television Studio does not have that. It's a very good switcher, but it's just switching. That's it. So now you know what the differences are between the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO and the ATEM Television Studio. Again, I bought this one, the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, and it is a fantastic device. Of course, I will have more videos for you lined up, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the bell icon as well so that you get notified if there is new content coming your way. And I really look forward to seeing why you have chosen either the Television Studio or the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, or maybe another one of the ATEM Mini series. And again, we will have a full-on series coming your way on Tech Condo. My name is Petra van Bruggen. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.